Come on. Sideline media.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back. This is episode 2 of Full Court Press, powered by Riverside. I am Ored, aka Blake. Beside me is Q, my co-host.
What up?
This is an all-college episode today. Every Thursday, we're going to give you the breakdown on the best college games of the week, the best storylines, some predictions, and much more. So stay with us. We're going to get right into it. Q, I'll let you start off with the storylines of the first week of action.
Well, first we're going to start off in Stillwater, Oklahoma. We had the Oklahoma State Cowboys take on the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles. The Cowboys put on a show for us, almost getting to 100 points for the first time in 3 years, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy since we played Central Michigan. Our leading scorer tonight was Miller. They call him King, so I guess that's his nickname here. So King Miller, he's from Yukon, Oklahoma. He had an easy 21 points. King Victorious Miller. And then Christian Coleman had a double-double. He was just everywhere on the floor, running around, getting rebounds wherever he needed to. Parsifala scored 15 points. He was just using his big body, getting down there, moving well on transition as well. Jalen Curry had 13. And Anja Vukovic, I really liked him. The big man from Serbia. He moves very well. He does get tired very quick. I think he is 7'1", so you're expecting that. But he's only a sophomore, so that'll be very fun to see. Oral Roberts, they had an interesting first half. They kept it close. It was 46-50 going into the second half, and then the Cowboys just went on a tear, outscoring them 45-25 in the second half. Ty Harper led the way for ORU at 18 points. Jack Turner had 14, and Ofra Nafe had 11. Cowboys built a 22-12 lead in the second half and kind of just took over from there. And Cowboys start on a good win, a very good win, almost 100 points. I love seeing that. The offense was fluid. It was working. Was Kanye Curry. He was kind of just shot chucking. I don't really love the way he performed, but first game of the season, I love the way the offense ran and the defense was running around. Lutz gets an A for me in this game, and Oklahoma State should be very excited. Very good performance, and they didn't have their best performing player in the preseason. What's his name?
Anthony Roy.
Anthony Roy, yeah, from Green Bay, Wisconsin. So a very good showing here from the Cowboys to start us off.
Yeah, and I was just fixing to say that missing Anthony Roy, the speed and the tempo that OSU plays with, I think that showed in the second half. ORU was starting to get tired, and that's what allowed the Cowboys to pull away in that one. As an OSU fan, I'm really excited for this season. I think this is going to be one of the best teams we've had maybe the last 10 years.
Go. Let's go.
And that's saying something considering we had the number 1 overall pick on our team a few years ago. But the offense, they play with a lot of tempo, a lot of pace, and defensively they are very active with their hands. They create a lot of turnovers and love to run in transition. And I think over the course of the season, especially once you get into Big 12 play, there are going to be some teams that have trouble keeping up with that over a 40-minute game. And so I think OSU is a team that should be on some people's radars to make a little bit of noise, whether it be top 5 in the Big 12 or work their way into a top 5-6 seed. I think they're a team that people come March are going to be a little bit afraid of in a lot of aspects. But yeah, that might be bold.
First game.
I don't know.
First game, Blake.
First game overreactions?
Very
What?
much
What are
so.
those?
Yeah.
Our next storyline will stay in the Big 12. TCU, they were projected 10th in the preseason Big 12 poll. They lost to New Orleans 78-74. They also had one of their forwards go down with an ACL injury. I think I saw this morning that it is a torn ACL, so he's going to be out for the season.
Was that the guy they were carrying off the court?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah, so
My gosh.
TCU already one game in, their season looks a little bleak. I mean, they were actually projected ahead of Oklahoma State in the Big 12, which OSU at number 12 was kind of crazy. But yeah, a horrible loss for TCU. New Orleans right now is in the transition to get back into the LSU system, and I actually saw something this morning where they're possibly changing their logo and their colors back to purple and gold, since they're in that system. But yeah, a big
Wait,
win for New
what do you mean?
Orleans.
Explain that to me, because I can't be the
So
only one that doesn't know what you're talking about.
okay, so most mid majors are in a bigger school's system. So like all the UC Irvine, UC Davis, all of those are in Cal's system. If you're a big baseball fan, LSU Shreveport, who's won I don't know how many D2 national championships, is in LSU's system. I'm not sure if New Orleans is going to be called LSU New Orleans moving forward, but most teams, it kind of depends on the school. Some of them will take the main school's colors and logos and things like that and share them. A lot of the UC schools don't, but yeah, it's a interesting thing, and I think in the long run it helps schools maintain like athletic programs and obviously academics and all that. It gives them a little bit of extra funding, but yeah, other than that, that's really all I know about it. So if I'm wrong on any of that, please feel free to correct me. Anybody out there that knows more about it, I would love to know more. But as far as what I know, that's what it is.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that was an absolute crazy. I mean, you love to see this first day of the season. Master P. I don't know if y'all know who that is, but he is the New Orleans head coach. One of the funniest things he was talking about before the game, he had a Bible, big thick Bible. He said, I talked to God this morning. He said, we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game. And he's just going on about how he's talked to God. And God obviously prevails always. New Orleans comes out with a big W, which bringing God against a Christian school, one of the craziest
Yeah, that's
moves I've ever. I mean, that's just. I mean, what can you do if you're TCU? I mean, dang, that's a
pray
power
more, I
move from
guess.
Master
I don't
P.
know.
Master P knew he was doing that. That was
Yeah.
some strategic.
Shout out Master P, man.
Yeah, I mean, from rapper to NBA to the head coach now of New Orleans, upsetting TCU, using God against a Christian school. It's absolutely insane storyline right there. So yeah,
Yeah,
let's
love
go New
that.
Orleans.
And TCU, I mean, their season might as well be done already. I don't know where they go from here.
I don't think so, but we'll see.
Next,
Lot of season left.
yeah, that's true. Next storyline, the one really only big game we had in this opening week, Arizona and Florida in Las Vegas. Arizona ended up winning that 93-87. Koa Pete, freshman for Arizona, 30 points in his first college game. Big showing against the defending champs.
The best
Q, you
freshman
picked.
showing since Michael Beasley at
Wow,
Kansas State.
that dude was a bucket getter,
Absolutely
pure bucket
insane.
getter.
Code Pete, bro. That dude is a dog.
Q, you had Florida in that one. I'm interested to see what you thought about that game and how the Gators performed.
Yeah, that was rough. They just got outcoached, I think. They looked like they were sluggish. They didn't look like they wanted to play, honestly. And Arizona being at home there really helped. I mean, the fans were going absolutely insane. Koa Pete, one of the best freshman debuts we've ever seen. Goes up there with Paulo, Chet, Michael Beasley, Kevin Durant debuts with 30 points plus 5 rebounds and 3 steals, which is crazy just to have the 3 steals as well against very disciplined, well, we thought disciplined Florida team that is expecting to make a run and try to go back to back since UConn. It doesn't look like that's going to be foreseeable future unless they get this back on the right track, because Koa Pete was just dismantling Arizona, as well as, oh, I had him in my notes. What was his name? Jaden Bradley. Jaden Bradley, we'll talk about him later, but he was also just dismantling Florida whenever he wanted. So, yeah, the defense over there didn't look like they did last year. They didn't look like their rotations were the same. They obviously did lose some big pieces. Walter Clayton Jr., I forget who else. But yeah, I guess that will make a big difference. Condon didn't really play. He played 8 minutes, I think. So not what I was expecting at all. So we'll see how that bounces back for Florida. A lot of season left, but it did not look pretty to start off against Arizona, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I think Arizona, as deep as the Big 12 is, I think Arizona's sending a message. Like Houston's ranked number 2, Texas Tech's 10. Arizona's kind of on that outside looking in as far as title contenders go. And I think this was a message to not only the conference, but to the rest of the country that, hey, we might not be perfect, but we're a team that's going to make some noise. I could definitely see them in the Final Four. And, for Florida, it's not like this is a bad loss for them. I think with the amount of transfers they have that are going to play a substantial amount of minutes, it's going to take time for them to fully mesh together. So I definitely think Florida bounces back. But yeah, Arizona, big win early in the season, and this is what makes college basketball fun, is getting these kind of matchups this early, and because there's so few and far between as far as ranked matchups go. So anytime you get a chance to get one, especially even though it's not on your home court, you basically have home court advantage being in Vegas, and Arizona did what they had to do and went out there and got it done. Next game I want to talk about, Auburn. We talked somewhat about them last episode. They ended up winning their game in overtime against Bethune-Cookman, but it went to overtime, and they didn't look great. I don't think they're ranked number 20. I personally do not think that Auburn is a top 25 team. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that will agree with that. They have a long way to go. Stephen Pearl takes over for his dad, Bruce. I think he will end up being a pretty good coach, but right now that team and him as a coach individually have a long way to go before they're back at the top of the SEC, at the top of the country, a top 3 seed. So that one for me, I'm honestly surprised they won that game.
Yeah, they didn't look like they were going to win it going into overtime, even late overtime. They made like a late run they got fouled. They made an and one, and then Green Bay couldn't make a bucket. They tried a 3, and then they fouled him again. That ultimately ended the game. But yeah, it was close to like the last 45 seconds, 30 seconds. So, yeah.
Auburn fans I feel like they probably thought coming into this season, like new era, but Tahad Pettiford's going to be good, so we're going to be good, and that's just not going to be the case for them, I don't think.
Yeah.
This is a big one because you don't see upsets like this hardly at all in basketball. D2, Hawaii Pacific. This is a great story. Hawaii Pacific goes on the road to Boise State and upsets the Broncos 79-78.
36 and a half point underdogs.
Hawaii Pacific, obviously Division II college, their campus is inside a former strip mall in Hawaii, and they play their basketball inside an abandoned adult rec center that probably doesn't have over 1,000 seats. I mean,
you gotta love this. This is the stuff of legend.
Probably like, you can go back in football, the App State win over Michigan whenever it was FCS over FBS, but from D2 to D1, you hardly ever see games like this. And first of all, Boise State, what are we doing? This is a bye game that you should win by 25 at least on your home court. What's the message to the team in that locker room after the game?
If I'm the coach, long season ahead, I guess, but that was not pretty. I'm not going to be happy, but I guess you can just be like, we came out sluggish. They hit us. They wanted it more. Hungry dog runs faster, I guess. Don't let this happen again. But yeah, that's a very, very bad loss.
And I think it makes it worse that they only lost by 1, and Boise State actually had a couple chances to win with under 10 seconds left. And, if they'd have lost by 10, be like, hey, they just outplayed us all game. But you lose by 1, you had every chance in the world to win that game. And
I bet if Ashton Ginty was there, they would.
Yeah, probably. The last storyline we'll go over, Loyola Chicago. This is why college basketball is beautiful. Everyone knows the story. Loyola Chicago Final Four team a few years ago as an 11 seed, and their super fan, however you want to call it, Sister Jean, passed away over the offseason. And in their first game without Sister Jean on the sidelines, Loyola Chicago wins on the buzzer beater, which was the first buzzer beater of this young season. So how poetic is that? By the way, it was against Cleveland State. It was 91-88. But how poetic is it in the first game without Sister Jean on their sideline? They went on a buzzer beater, which, if anyone remembers, we're very used to Loyola Chicago winning on buzzer beaters.
This is true. Yeah. Rest in peace, Miss Sister Jean. 103. What a life. Yeah, that was awesome. I don't really have much. I didn't watch this at all. I only saw the highlight. But yeah, awesome. Awesome start. Hopefully, just maybe we'll see Loyola Chicago back in March. So one can only hope Sister Jean can give her presence throughout the whole season. So I don't know. Let's go. Rest in peace, Sister Jean.
Yeah, shout out Loyola Chicago. I've been a fan since their Final Four run. You can call me bandwagon, whatever, but I'm always going to pay
Wow,
attention
you're such a
to what
bandwagon,
they're
bro.
doing.
God.
Yeah, God. All right, move on to our next segment. And this is my Bracket Busters segment. Going to give you a random mid-major team that either
Are we
you
not
should
going to
be.
talk about last week's picks?
We'll get to that whenever we get to the picks.
Okay.
Yeah. This week, my bracket buster is the Milwaukee Panthers. They won their first game against Hampton. Seth Hubbard, a Toledo transfer, had 23 points for them. They're in the Horizon League, and they're projected by many to win that league this season, get the auto bid into the NCAA tournament. Have a few pretty big games on their schedule, chances for some possible trap games for some of these teams: Indiana, Texas Tech, Wichita State, and Wisconsin. Texas Tech and Wisconsin both ranked. And I think that one of those teams could possibly be in a trap situation. Milwaukee is obviously not, on a Power 4 level, but they're a gritty team. They had a couple guys leave from last season that are now on Power 4 rosters. And so they produce quality basketball players, and I think that's no different this season. So again, if you're just out there scrolling, trying to find a game on ESPN Plus, go check out Milwaukee. They play really good basketball. So we'll move on to our next segment. This is just a quick little games to watch because there's a lot of ranked matchups in the next week. I wanted to point these out in case you got bored. One night, Oklahoma and Gonzaga in Seattle. This one's on Saturday at 10:30 Eastern on ESPN2. OU, not necessarily an SEC contender, but by no means are they a slouch. They've produced some really good basketball players in recent years. Last season, Jeremiah Fears, one of the top freshmen in college basketball, and Gonzaga ranked always I don't know if you could call them a powerhouse, but definitely a team that makes noise in their conference and in the NCAA tournament. So that one might be a good one to watch. Mississippi State and Iowa State, a couple Power 4 teams. For some reason, this game's in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I don't know why. I couldn't figure out why. So someone out there might know. Yeah. That's so random. I don't know why they're playing in South Dakota. But Iowa State ranked 16th. This one is on Monday at 8 Eastern on ESPNU. Make sure to tune into that one. And then finally, a little Sunshine State showdown, whatever they call it. Florida State at Florida. This is on Veterans Day at 7 Eastern on the SEC Network. I feel like Florida State and Florida always produce a good college basketball game. Florida State, a few years ago, was one of the elite teams in the country, and now Florida has kind of taken that mantle. But a rivalry game, always excited to watch those in any way, shape, or form. So definitely going to have to tune into that one. So that's 3 games that I think you should be paying attention to. Q, if you want to add anything to what I said, feel free.
Yeah, those are all great games in my opinion. I think the most well, now since you told me it's in Sioux Falls, I'm most interested in Mississippi State and Iowa State. I mean, that's going to be interesting. But yeah, like you said, Florida State, Florida. Interesting to see how Florida bounces back. It'll be a good test because they definitely weren't expecting, I think, to get punched in the mouth that badly by Arizona. So yeah, that'll be another good one. But the games I have also OU, Gonzaga. I don't think OU has the firepower for Gonzaga. I don't think Porter Moser is that good of a coach. I think he's a great recruiter. I don't think he's a good coach, but that's neither here nor there. So I have Gonzaga in that. But My games for tomorrow, we have Kansas versus UNC, one of the best blue blood matchups we're going to have all year. Bill Self versus, what's his name from UNC? Davis.
Yeah.
Is it not Mark Davis?
I don't remember, bro.
Whatever.
I know his name's
Davis.
Davis.
Yeah, from UNC. Going to be a good matchup. We're going to see freshman phenom, who I think might be the best out of all of them. Darren Peterson, show out again. We'll get that later. So we'll have that tomorrow at 6 p.m. That will be in, I believe, Chapel Hill. Let me check.
It is.
Yes. So it will be there in Chapel Hill. We'll have the not Cameron Crazies. Do they have a name in Chapel Hill?
I don't know. I don't know if they do.
Anyways, we'll see those Chapel Hill Crazies. They're going to
Yeah.
hate that. And then we have Saturday tomorrow at 11 a.m. sharp, or not tomorrow, excuse me, 2 days. Saturday, November 8th, 11 a.m., Alabama number 15 versus St. John's. That'll be a great game. Patino versus, what's his name from Alabama? Nate Oates, who I think might be in the NBA in a couple of years or on another team. And then for my next game, last game, I was choosing between either Kentucky, Louisville, but that's Tuesday, or Arkansas, Michigan State. So I'm going to go against the two. Again, Hall of Fame coaches John Calipari versus Michigan State, Tom Izzo. We're going to see those two go at it. I think Michigan State is probably going to edge this one out. I think they're at home as well. Breslin Center, I think that's there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, they are home, so they'll have home court advantage there. So, yeah, it's looking like a pretty good slate of basketball this weekend and upcoming week. So we'll have a good portion to go with to talk about next week. We'll see.
Yeah, and those three ranked matchups we're going to talk about a little bit more in our sideline full court 5. But for now, let's move on to Q's questions. This is maybe my favorite segment because I always love some questions.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, if you've been watching this past week, you've seen some of the freshman phenoms that have been performing. I mean, we've seen Koa Pete, we've seen Ruths, we've seen Phelan from Louisville, we've seen Darren Peterson, we've seen Cameron Boozer. I mean, this is some of the most talented freshman class we've seen in a minute. We have Kyan Anthony, who also put up 18 points for Syracuse in his debut. Awesome to see wearing the number. I wish he wore 15, but I know it's retired. But 7 is also pretty cool. But my question here is this the most talented freshman class since 2021? So we have Paulo that went first, Chet that went second, Jabari went third. So do you think that could be a possibility that, again, that's the last time it happened that 3 freshmen went the first 3 picks?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty
AJ,
obvious.
I didn't even mention AJ.
Yeah, I think at least right now that it's pretty obvious that the top 3 is going to be freshmen. And I was actually looking through earlier on some mock drafts and early big boards, and for a lot of people, the top 5, the entire top 5 of the 2026 NBA draft right now is projected to be freshmen, and we haven't seen that in a long time. I mean, there's so many names that we could go over between the top 3 recruits coming into the season, and then a few extra guys, Caleb Wilson for North Carolina, who we're going to talk a little bit more about. There's so many talented guys, and I think it's no stretch to say that this is the most talented freshman class we've had since then. Obviously, last season, Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe, really solid. But with that being said, I just think that aside from those top 3 of Boozer, Dybonsa, and Peterson, there's still so much talent out there that once you add in all the sophomores, the juniors, the seniors, the international guys, this has potential to be one of the deepest draft classes we've seen in a long time.
As we were saying, it's not very deep.
Yeah.
Now we've seen all the freshmen perform.
Yeah. It's funny how things switch that quickly, but it's true and it's real. So yeah, I think not definitely, but I think it isn't a stretch to say that this is the most talented freshman class we've seen since that Chet Paolo class. And I see no reason why, at least for now, that those top 3 will be dethroned from that position as far as draft goes. And, I'm excited because, for one, they're all in different places. It's not just stuck to Kentucky and Duke and North Carolina and Kansas. Yes, Kansas has one, Duke has one, but Dybonsa's at BYU, Koa Pete, Arizona. You know, you said Kai and Anthony, Syracuse. There's a lot of names at a lot of different places. So I think
Beautiful.
the parity is slowly coming back into college basketball, and that's one thing that I love is having those guys instead of one team having 5 top 20 recruits. The top 20 goes to 18 different schools. So as far as parity goes, definitely helps. But yeah, extremely talented freshman class this season. And as the season goes on, there's going to be a lot of big games. Obviously, you already said a little bit about Kansas and North Carolina, and 2 top 5 recruits match up in that game. So um, every single one of those guys is going to have an opportunity to solidify himself either as a top 3, a lottery, a first round, anyway. And we could go on and on about it. So I'm gonna just end it. But yeah, definitely very talented freshman class this year.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear from what the people think because, man, it's just started, but it's looking like it's going to be an absolute star-studded freshman class. So I'm excited, and this is when basketball is the best. I love the old Braden Smith still trying to be there, like Perry Ellis trying to win with his terrible. Have you seen that tattoo? That
No, I
green.
haven't.
It's like a lion in a jungle, and he painted it, or not painted, tattooed it green, and it looks
What in the
but it's like
world?
turquoise green. It looks terrible.
He's on
But
some
yeah,
LaMelo Ball type stuff.
LaMelo has some of the worst tattoos as well. But yeah, it's gonna be very, very fun to watch and see play
Most
out.
definitely.
And it looks like the Pelicans are gonna have another top 3 pick. Hopefully
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. So a really good question there. Thank you, Q. And we'll move on to our sideline standouts. Again, we'll go back and forth, and this time I will actually put them in a poll on Instagram so you can vote on who had the better standout game between the two. My first one, we've already talked about him a lot, freshman Koa Pete from Arizona in their win over Florida. He had 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 stocks. Shot 61% from the field, and obviously they won the game. And like you said earlier, the best freshman performance, best freshman debut since Michael Beasley. And the other names that you named from that list were also some big-time stars, not only in college, but now in the NBA. And I think he has the tools not only to be a quality starter in the NBA, but I think he has the tools to lead Arizona to a national championship. It's not very often that you get a guy that's as offensively polished as he was against Florida as a freshman. And I think Arizona, their coaching staff is going to do a great job of getting him the ball. And I think I can go back to when Cade Cunningham was at OSU. Every single situation that season, whenever it got down late, clutch time, it seemed like Cade had the ball in his hands, and 99% of the time it felt like he won the game. The one that sticks out to me the most was his game-winning 3 at Wichita State. And Pete, I think, has that capability for Arizona. So for me, that was probably my favorite performance of the week so far. So Q, I'll pass it to you for the one that can match that.
Okay. My to go against that, I'm gonna choose his teammate actually, Jaden Bradley, the senior, put up 27 points on 9 for 14 shooting, had 9 assists with 2 steals or 3 stocks. He had a block as well. Yeah, just all around performance from Mr. Bradley. They can. That's why Arizona is going to be, I think, pretty interesting come late in the season. They are very deep. They have a great freshman class. They have good returning players. We talked about them last week, but Jaden Bradley this week helped Koa Pete. Koa Pete is obviously going to be the main talking point, the freshman phenom. But without Jaden Bradley, I don't think they get that win. So Jaden Bradley again, 27 points, 9 for 14 shooting, 9 assists, 3 stocks. And that's my choice for this week.
I like that. 57 combined from them against the defending champs. It's not very often in college basketball you get production like that just from 2 guys. Obviously, they're not going to hold those averages the entire season, but
Hey, you never know. You never know.
That is true. You never know. My next standout is going to be Larry Oleinka from Florida International. He's a junior for them, and this was a weird matchup. Florida International versus Florida National. Very confusing. But anyway, 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 steals. Shot 71% from the field in only 21 minutes of action. So he barely played
Get
one half
ready
of
to
basketball.
learn Oklahoma City Thunder, Larry Olelenka. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. 6 steals?
absolutely.
Oh yeah. Sam Presti's chomping at in 21 minutes too. He
Yeah.
is, oh my gosh, he is
That's
foaming
a
at the
lot of
mouth.
production in a little amount of time. Barely
I'm
played over a
I
half.
can see the number, whatever jersey he wears right now.
Oh yeah. That has potential. Big time
Dude, in
mid-major guy, but yeah.
21 minutes?
Yeah.
Dang, I
Yeah,
thought
that's
my guy was
wild.
good, but dang. Yeah. Dang.
Dang.
Well, so I guess to go against that, also gonna have a pretty interesting name. Milan Momkilovic from Iowa State, sophomore, versus Florida Atlantic University, not to be confused with the others. 29 points with 11 of 16 shooting, including 7 from 10 from the 3-point. He also had 4 assists with 2 steals. He shot most of his threes from both corners, which hasn't been done in a while. So that's pretty interesting. I haven't seen that in a minute. So he's a corner specialist for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, he was just out there shooting, getting to the bucket whenever he wanted. He's a 6'8" kind of shooting guard. He's small forward. He's pretty skinny, 185, 90 pounds. If he gets up to 200, I think he'd be a small forward. But yeah, he had a great showing against FAU. Hopefully he keeps it up.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you go 7 for 10 from 3, it's an impressive performance, no matter
Yeah,
what
he
level of
he
ball.
had 1 3, and that wasn't from the corner, and it was from the barely on the right tray arc. So he was barely not in the corner.
Yeah, and I remember last season, he was lighting people up from deep in the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a name to look out for ranked Iowa State. That's a great performance. My next one, gonna stay in the Big 12. This one, Christian Anderson, sophomore for Texas Tech against Lindenwood. 34 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, and 4 steals. So double-double from him. That's looks like he was everywhere. I didn't watch that game, but
You know what
whenever you can
position he
fill a
plays?
stat, I want to say he's a forward, like a small forward, shooting guard. So and even if he's not, he could be their main ball handler. But like I said, I didn't watch that game. But anytime you can fill a stat sheet like that, that has potential to land him on some Player of the Year watch lists. I think was not a name that I was paying attention to as far as Texas Tech was concerned going into this season. Obviously, JT Toppin, their biggest name, but yeah, Christian Anderson, man, 34-point double-double with 4 steals, was 3 rebounds away from a triple-double, and obviously got the win. So big-time performance from him. Interested to see what you have to match that.
Boy, do I have a story for you. So we have Jaden Booth from Samford. I'm gonna go with his stat line first, and then I'll tell you the story. Jaden
Okay.
Booth, graduating senior from Samford, 72 to 85 L to Tulane. He shot 10 from 20 from the field, including 9 of 17 on what appears to be 3-point attempts. Some they're getting aggregated to twos. I think he had 2 threes that are now aggregated to twos. So I think it's 7 of 15 attempts now that they're calling it, with 5 of 5 free throws. But the story of Jaden Booth, he started at Nebraska of Omaha. Freshman year, he played 2 games, got hurt, decided he wanted to be a lawyer, went to the Nebraska Omaha Lawyer School, or Institute of Lawyer, whatever. Then he's graduating, is going to Samford to get his doctorate. Now he is playing for Samford because they needed him as he was on the practice squad. They saw how good he was, and now he's putting up these numbers, which is absolutely insane. I mean, he just was
So what was his
34
actual
points.
stat line? 34.
34
Wow.
points. 10 of 20 from the field goal, 7 3-pointers made, 5 of 5 from free throw. This guy was on the practice squad in the summer. They saw how good he was. He's getting his lawyer, whatever, at Samford.
So this dude's like 25.
Yes, you see it. You can go to ESPN. He played 3 games at Nebraska Omaha for the Cyclones, then gets hurt, decides he wants to be a lawyer full time, doesn't play for 4 years, plays on the practice squad for Sanford in the summer, gets on the team and puts up 34 points and almost, I mean, 72-85 isn't a pretty loss, but it could have been a lot worse for Sanford. One of the craziest stories I've read in a
Wow.
minute.
I can't believe I didn't see that. That's unreal.
Yes, I saw it on Twitter this morning. I was like, no way.
Wow.
Yeah, it took
College basketball, man.
This dude's about to be a lawyer, and he's putting up 34 on you.
That's wild. Wow. Those are some really good matchups. Interested to see what the public thinks. I'll have those up hopefully tonight. So if that's all for that one, we're going to move on to our last and final segment, the full court 5. This week, we're going to add in a sixth man. Last week, I went undefeated. 7 of the games were pretty easy. The last one, Arizona and Florida. I picked Arizona, you picked Florida, so you are 7-1. But this week has potential to be very interesting, and you're about to find out why. A few of these games we've already talked about a little bit. We're going to start out with number 19 Kansas going on the road to Chapel Hill to take on the 25th ranked North Carolina Tar Heels. This one is on Friday at 7 Eastern on ESPN. This is actually the first time Kansas will play North Carolina in Chapel Hill.
Wow.
13 previous meetings. 7 of those 13 came in the NCAA tournament, 4 in the Final Four, and 1 in the national championship, which was in 2022. Kansas won their matchup last season, 92-89, and took the lead in the all-time series 7-6. And last thing I'll say about this one, back to that freshman class that we were talking about, 2 top 5 recruits, Darren Peterson, who actually I think jumped AJ to become the number 1 recruit late, and then Caleb Wilson for UNC, who finished the season number 5 in the recruiting rankings. So a couple top 5 recruits facing each other, and 2 blue bloods, Kansas, North Carolina. Everybody knows their name. So this has potential to be a classic. UNC is favored by 1.5, but ESPN's matchup predictor gives Kansas a 58.6% chance to win. However accurate you think that thing is, I feel like that thing, it's a little wonky. But big game early in the season. 2 blue bloods, 2 very known names, a lot of big-time players. Bill Self, obviously, Hall of Fame coach. This one, like I said, potential to be an all-time classic.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is what we want in these games. I mean, usually we don't see this early, but now these teams are wanting to get these big-time matchups to get these big-time recruits, and these are the games they want to play, and these are the games they're getting now, and these are the games we want to see. So I'm all for this. I mean, this slate is absolutely banging this week. I'm loving it. Like you said, 2 coaches that are proven, both championship winning coaches. One obviously has done it on a bigger scale. One obviously has done it more recently in a newer time. So that'll be more interesting. Both great recruiters, both great coaches. Darren Peterson, I mean, if you haven't seen him, he can do it all. I know it's a small sample size, but that dude was just everywhere. Caleb Wilson, I believe he's 6'10", 6'11", 250, big, bulky. He looks NBA ready. Kind of reminds me of Jalen Duren of the Pistons, little Isaiah Stewart as well. He's not gonna tear the stat sheet up per se in the points, but he's gonna make his mark in the game. Like you said, Kansas won last season 92-89, was a very good game. I believe who's that small guard they had that just recently graduated? I believe he had a good game for them last year.
I feel like his name was Jalen something.
Well, that's
That really narrows it down.
Yeah. Anyways,
shout
he
out
had a
Jalen
great
Rose's
game.
mom.
Like they said, leads all time series 7-6 or 6-7. Anyways, 7 of the 13 meetings, like you said, in the NCAA 14, 4 in the Final Four, 1 in the final. First time, like you said, in regular season? Or no?
First time Kansas will play in Chapel Hill.
In Chapel Hill. That is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you say who you picked already?
I have not yet. This one, I feel like it's a toss-up. I feel like The spread being 1.5, I feel like is very accurate. I don't see any reason why this couldn't go to overtime. It's going to come down to which star can make the big plays, I think, at the end of the game. But I'm going to go North Carolina. Kansas won on their home court last season. I think North Carolina, first chance to play a fellow blue blood in their home arena. I see no reason why they couldn't capitalize on this. And being number 25, I think UNC last few seasons they've fell short of some expectations. And this season, a little bit of a new roster. They finally get rid of like the guys like Caleb Love, who obviously he was at Arizona, but some of those guys that were on those teams that underperformed. And so I'm going to take the Tar Heels at home.
Wow. I didn't know you were a big ACC homer. I thought we were Big 12 country here. So I'm going to go Kansas. Let's go. I think Bill Self Kansas might be one of my favorites to win it all. I love the story
Really?
of Bill Self. I think this might be his last year or one of it's not he doesn't have more years than he has left, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I got Kansas here. I think they got something to prove. I think Darren Peterson is going to come out there, I think, put at least 20 easy. It's going to be a very interesting matchup, like you said. But yeah, I have Kansas. Let's go Jayhawks.
I like it. Starting off hot with opposite picks. Next game, another one we talked a little bit about, number 15, Alabama, going on the road, playing number 5, St. John's in Madison Square Garden, New York, New York. This one's on Saturday at noon Eastern. Find it on FS1. St. John's is favored by 6.5. This is their 5th meeting all time. Last one came in 1982, and this all-time series is tied 2-2. Couple names to look out for Alabama. LeBaron Philon Jr., 22 points and 8 assists in their opener, shooting almost 70% from the field. And then for St. John's, Dylan Mitchell had stops at Texas and last year was at Cincinnati. 18 points, 7 rebounds, 4 steals, and shot 78% from the field in their openers. Another big-time ranked matchup early in the season. I think both of these teams are teams with national title aspirations. Obviously, Alabama finished near the SEC, top of the SEC last few seasons, and Nate Oates, a really good coach. I think they're looking to finally get over that hump and make it to a national championship. For St. John's, Pitino, all-time coach, I think they're a team that fell well short of their expectations. Last season, they were ranked, top 10 pretty much the entire year and did not play well in NCAA tournament at all. So this season, they're looking to turn that around. Interesting one to pick for me. I'm going to let you talk and then make my prediction.
Yeah, like you said, St. John's last year in the tournament, I mean, they were my winners I picked, so that just absolutely ruined my bracket. So that left a sour taste in my mouth. I do love the coach, Nate Oates. I do think he will be on a different team in the foreseeable future. I don't think Alabama will keep him very long. I think he'll either be on an NBA roster or different, probably Big Ten school, probably Indiana, I could see, because Indiana needs to get back on the map. But that's neither here nor there. Like you said, St. John's last year left a sour taste in my mouth, but I am going to pick them here. I love them at home. I think they're coached better, I hope. But we shall see. I love the early games. So I love that this is starting us off.
Yeah, most definitely. And I'm with you. I'm going to go with St. John's. Not very often you get to play your home games in one of the best places to play basketball in the entire world at Madison Square Garden. And obviously being ranked number 5 puts a little bit more implication on that. So St. John's, for me, probably a national title contender. Will I pick them to win my bracket come March? We'll see. But another potential classic in New York for this one. Next one, Arkansas, Michigan State, number 14, Razorbacks, going on the road to East Lansing to take on number 22. This one's also on Saturday, 7 Eastern on Fox. 2 Hall of Fame coaches. You've said a little bit about them already, John Calipari and Tom Izzo. as far as coaches go, it doesn't really get much better than those two. I think Cal has fallen off a little bit in recent years, but
Or so is Izzo.
that is true. But Izzo is literally the month of March. So this one, it's not a blockbuster game. There's not any really, really known players. There's not any top recruits or anything like that are going to be seen in this one, other than maybe Cohen Carr for Michigan State. But this one for me, I think is honestly pretty easy to pick. I don't know what you think. I'll let you talk a little bit and then give a prediction. But yeah.
Yeah, like you said, two iconic Hall of Fame coaches going at it. I don't know much about either of these teams, to be honest. I know that I don't like Calipari. Like I said last episode, I think he's on his last legs. I don't think he's really wanting to coach anymore. I don't think he needs to be coaching anymore. I don't think he likes the landscape of the NIL, the transfer portal, but we'll see, because he was doing it all before that and when he was only allowed to do it, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, Tom Izzo also on his later years, so we'll see how that goes. I wouldn't expected him to keep coaching this far after Coach K retired. I thought once Coach K retired, he would kind of like try to see himself out, as well as what's his name from North Carolina? God, old white guy.
Roy Williams.
Roy Williams. I thought he would retire as well with them, especially with the transfer portal and NIL. But he's still kicking, so I love that they're at home as well. I think they'll continue to win these matchups, go 3-0. So yeah, let's go Michigan State Sparties.
Yeah, I'm with you. Michigan State at home, and Michigan State won both of the previous meetings. Now, granted, they came in 1991 and 1995, so that has no real implications on this game. But Michigan State, they're a team that's looking to get back to the top of the pedestal in the Big Ten. Kind of ran that conference for a few years. Cassius Winston was one of the best guards in the country for multiple seasons, and they have fallen off a little bit. But Tom Izzo, obviously Hall of Fame coach, knows what he wants from his guys, and I think this is a game where they put themselves back on that map of being a true contender. So go Sparty. Next one, love rivalry games. We already talked a little bit about Florida State and Florida. This one is another ACC-SEC matchup. Number 9, Kentucky, going on the road to number 11, Louisville. What the hell is Kentucky's state name or whatever?
What is
I don't even know what it
Kentucky's
is.
state name?
Like Oklahoma's the Sooner State, Florida's Sunshine State, Kansas Sunflower State. What's Kentucky?
A horse racing state? I have no idea.
I guess.
Bat
Something
making
like that.
state? I have no idea.
But at any rate, Kentucky and Louisville, I might get some hate for this. You can't really call it a rivalry. Kentucky leads the all-time series 40-17.
Okay, by that standards, you can't call Bedlam a rivalry.
That's exactly why I was going to say I might get some hate for this. And Kentucky is 14-10 playing at Louisville. Louisville, according to ESPN, they don't have a spread for this game yet, but Louisville's projected by ESPN has a 77% chance to win. By the way, this one's next Tuesday, Veterans Day. Good Veterans Day lineup, 8 p.m.
Shout out to
Eastern
veterans.
on ESPN.
They deserve it.
Name to watch in this one, Louisville, Connie Roos, 20.7 rebounds for them. Kentucky, their production's a little bit spread out this season so far. I don't think they have quote-unquote star leading them just yet. I think it's still a little bit early in the season. They haven't quite hashed that out. Last season, Kentucky won their matchup 93-85. Interested to see what you have to say about this one.
These teams don't like each other. You might not call it a rivalry, but they think it is, so I'm going to call it that. Louisville and Kentucky absolutely don't like each other. Pat Kelsey has said some choice words about Kentucky and how they spent over $20 million on their roster apparently this year, which is absolutely insane for Mark Pope and the Wildcats. But yeah, Mark Pope, pretty all right coach. I think he might be the tallest coach in the NCAA at 6'10", which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, here I think it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. Like I said, they don't like each other. I wouldn't like each other either. It's kind of like big brother, little brother. Louisville feels like they've been better as of late, which you kind of argue. I mean, they've had a longer tenured coach now since Pope has been hired and Pat Kelsey has been there. So we'll see. But I do think Louisville will come out with the edge at home. I think they have a bit of a bad taste from last year. They don't like each other. Like I said, I'm going to keep saying it. So I think Louisville will come out hot and finish. I think Kentucky will make some adjustments at half, probably get it close. But I think Louisville in at home will prevail. And I hope Pat Kelsey talks some more shit after.
Yeah, I think this one definitely has potential. I could see some guys getting technicals. I could see some guys getting ejected. They don't like each other, plain and simple. I got some boys at Kentucky, and they're going to hate me if I pick against the Wildcats, and I'm not going to do that. CATS, 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 Cats. They own Louisville. They will always own Louisville. That's what I think.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But
That's what
that
he
will be a
thinks.
good game. That will be a great game. Next one, again, Veterans Day next Tuesday, 8:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Texas Tech and Illinois, number 10 versus number 17. This one's in Champaign. As far as I could find, this is the first time in the history of these two programs that they meet.
Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of big names in this one. Christian Anderson, obviously, 34 points in their opener. JT Toppin, one of the best names in college basketball. For Illinois, Ben Hummerkaus and Tomislav Ivisic, a couple
Wow.
big
Look
name
at
guys.
this.
Yeah. How about the pronunciations, huh? Yeah. Illinois, we talked a little bit about them last episode with their European starting five. A lot of foreign players on their roster. Texas Tech, to me, is one of the best teams in college
Get 'em out.
basketball. The Red Raiders, one of the best teams in college basketball to me. I see no reason, in all honesty, why they couldn't win the Big 12 regular season title. I think they could definitely steal one from Houston. This one being in Illinois doesn't move the needle for me very much. I think Illinois is a good team, but I don't think they're a great team, and I think Texas Tech's a great team. And for that reason, I'm taking the Red Raiders in this one.
Yeah. Well, I'm going with the Europeans. Let's go. I honestly just want the most parity in these picks.
That's fair.
So yeah, I also love watching the Europeans move the ball around and pass the rock and play good defense and just play good basketball. They play basketball the right way, unlike those Red Raiders. So I'm gonna go with the Fighting Illini, Illini, Illinois. Yeah, I'm going with them.
All right, so that's 5 games. I think we've picked the same in 3 and then different in 2, if my memory serves me right. Last one we'll talk about will end the Veterans Day triple header of ranked matchups. Number 23 Creighton going on the road to take on number 21 Gonzaga. 2 high-tier mid-major games, or teams, I should say. Gonzaga obviously had a lot more spotlight in recent seasons, but Creighton is always one of those teams that's around 25th in the ranking, and they've had some really quality players in the last few seasons. Obviously, Ryan Kalkbrenner, one of the best big men last season. Trey Alexander a couple seasons ago was a big-time scorer for them. Shout out Heritage Hall. Creighton actually leads the all-time series in this one, but there's only been 3 games this century. It came in 2018, 2019, and 2021, and the Bulldogs of Gonzaga won all 3 of those games. So as far as history is concerned, Gonzaga has owned this series in recent memory. ESPN's giving Gonzaga an 88% chance to win this game. For Creighton, they have an Iowa transfer, Owen Freeman, who had 19 points in their opener, shot 82% from the field. And Gonzaga, they had a lot of production from a lot of guys. They didn't have a big-time game from really anybody, but they had a lot of guys in double figures. Tyon Grant Foster, 15 points in 21 minutes, shot 71% from the field. And then Graham Ike, 13 points, 11 boards, and 4 assists in 23 minutes. So their starters didn't even play hardly over half the game. And, I think if that's any indication that Gonzaga is looking to get back in that powerhouse territory, they're trying to make a statement in this game. They have the opportunity to do that. Being in Seattle, I don't see any reason why Gonzaga couldn't get the job done here. Creighton, I think, is a good team. I think they have a chance to win their conference, but I just don't think they match up well with Gonzaga, so I'm going to pick the Dogs.
Yeah, like you said, both teams very veteran heavy. Both coached pretty well. You said, is it at Gonzaga or is it neutral site?
No, it's at Gonzaga.
You know, give me the Blue Jays. Come on, McDermott. I think Coach McDermott's gonna get it done. I hope so.
I like it. So 6 games, 6 picks. That's our full court 5 plus 1. Shout out 6 men everywhere. Shout out AJ Mitchell, the best 6 man in the NBA.
I have a 7th man. If we can get,
You have a
to him.
7th man? All right.
I have a 7th
Let's
man.
hear it.
It's gonna be in Stillwater, Oklahoma on Sunday,
That's a big game.
November 9th. Texas
game.
A&M Aggies against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Put it on your calendar. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna have on-site coverage. We're gonna see. We do, I think, lead the all-time series, 32-18. Let me check. Oh, I don't think so. Maybe not. But the last time we played was 2020, and we beat them 73-62. So
yeah, I'm excited for that game as a Pogue fan. I think it's a tone setter type of game for us. Hopefully Anthony Roy's back. I haven't seen anything about that yet, but excited to see what that roster looks like at full strength. I honestly feel like it's a team that could give the top dogs in the Big 12 a run for their money all season. Yeah, shout out 7th man right there. Excited for that one.
AJ Mitchell. We'll call that
Yes,
the
sir.
AJ Mitchell.
The AJ Mitchell. I love that. All right, well, I think that's it for us, unless you have anything else.
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Great episode of Full Court Press. This was episode 2. Episode 3 comes on Sunday, the All-NBA episode. Hope you're ready for it. For everybody at Sideline Media, that's Q. I'm All Red. See ya.
Yes.
Set it, full court press. Ball like Q, Hank can. Old red, got that press, it ain't no lie. He jump in, press, full court.